Okay, we've gotten to the part where we're making the filling. And so I measured this out. Turns out to be about 7 cups of the ground beef. Last time I did it was 6 cups, so it's about the same. And the ratio I found is about, 3 cups of beef to 2 cups, what is it? Well, no, 6 cups of beef to 2 cups of rice and 2 cups of onions. So what I got here is 2 cups of, it just happened to work out to be 2 cups of the onions and a little bit more than 2 cups of the rice. And I'm just going to mix all this together. And that's basically what you have to do, is just mix it together. And just work the rice in there. Try to make as much of a mess as you can so that people know you've been cooking. And I'll put the onions in there. And then the only thing to do once this thing is mixed up is to season it, which really just consists of putting as much salt and pepper into the mixture as you can stand. So I'm just going to evenly mix this all up. And it looks good to me already. And this is pretty much all that happens. And now what I do is I'll add some salt. And I'm going to grind a whole bunch of pepper. I happen to like the pepper part of it. So I put in a little bit, maybe more than you would. And that's pretty much it. I'm just going to mix this thoroughly, and we'll get to the next phase. Okay, and there's one more thing that I do. My mother didn't do this, but I do this, and I'm going to share it with you. Is I reach in there, and I see if I can grab a little bit, like that, of the barley, and I take that and I just sprinkle that in to the mixture, and that just gives me a little bit more barley flavor in this thing. None of the veggies, just the barley. And also gives a little bit of moisture. You don't want too much of this, but I find that it helps a little bit. And then I'll mix that in. And okay, now we're really down to the nitty-gritty. I just went and retrieved the dough. As you can see, it's increased in size again. And that is going to be used in a moment. And I'm even ready to preheat the oven, which I'm going to preheat it to, I think, 325. I should just check my notes. 375. That makes more sense. So I'm going to put that on bake. 375. Make sure there's nothing in there. And the next thing is going to be to prepare an area that we can roll out the dough. So, what you need is flour. You need a clean surface. In this house, there are very few surfaces to use for this thing, so we're going to use this countertop, which has been cleaned. And start off by sprinkling some flour directly on the surface here. And kind of spreading it out. And it's the one day a year I get to do this. I'm going to take the dough, take a piece of the dough anyway, and we're going to just plop that on there. And I got to get a rolling pin. Okay. And I typically would start off with a larger quantity than this, but I'm going to see how this goes first. So I'm just going to powder that guy up on both sides. And I'm going to roll this thing out. Like so. And get it nice and thin-ish. Try not to get any lumps in there. Okay, now, in terms of actually making the piroshki, this is where it gets fun. So what I do, I don't have a fancy little mold to use. I'm going to use this glass. I'm just going to take that and I'm going to make little circles out of this stuff. And you can't make too many at once, but I'll see if I can get through this whole thing. Now, you don't want the dough to be too thick when you do this, because then it really, if there's a technique, I guess you got to just try it and see what works. I can tell some pieces are thicker than others, but I always get better at this as I go along, so you will too. So I'm just going to cut off this dough like this. And it helps to keep them powdered so they don't stick together. By powder, of course, I mean floured. And I don't think they would taste very good with powder. And then we're going to reuse this dough. So I'm going to take that, stick it back in the bag. The bag keeps the dough a little bit warm. And a cookie tray. This one. I got a whole bunch of them lined up because we're going to make a whole bunch of these things. And I'm going to get some Crisco. And I would use anything. I'm going to show you the way my mom used to do this, which is to use wax paper. To be honest with you, I don't think that matters. But she would take a little bit of wax paper, bubble it up, take some Crisco, and do this kind of a thing. Coating the bottom of the thing. I'm going to reuse that. Okay, so now for the exciting thing. So we have the meat mixture. Okay. And we are getting into the actual construction of Piroshki now. So what you do is you take a little bit of this and you kind of stretch it out as best you can, like so. Okay. And one more thing, just get a spoon. Sometimes a teaspoon is better than a tablespoon, so I grabbed one of each. Stretch that out. And bear with me, the first one always isn't the best one, but I'm going to show you anyway. So I'm going to spoon a couple of teaspoons in this case of stuff. I'm going to put it down, filling. Now, the exact size of the Piroshki, well, some people like them bigger and some people like them smaller, and I personally make a little bit of the smaller ones and some of the bigger ones because they just, each of those permutations have their time and place. So what you do is you pinch the tops and the sides. And the trick is, it's kind of important not to get any of the filling on the outside sticking to the outside. You want to really scrunch that up like that. And then I kind of form it like this. And that's what a Piroshki actually looks like. It's an exciting moment in this whole process. Now, I can think about actually eating these soon. So there, you want to make sure that the tops are really scrunched in because you don't want them breaking open while we're cooking them. So I'll make another one just to show you what I do. I'm just patting that down. Take another couple of spoonfuls. Really push that in there. And then try to fold that over. And then just squish the tops and the sides like that. Once it's that way, you kind of just work it so that it's the right shape, like so. And I'll make a bunch more and I'll show you what happens next. Thanks.